I wasn't really keeping up with the rounds like that.
Okay.
But everybody was telling me that he was down. But
Yeah.
I was hoping for something big. I was hoping for him
knock out or
to,
something.
yeah. I was hoping for him to
to
just
sell the fight.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
not
for him to
only
fight
to
him,
sell the
for
fight,
him
but
to win.
just for us to fight.
Right, but I'm just saying that makes it for a better fight.
Stop right there. Devin Haney just confirmed it himself. In his own words, the fight was signed. The money was signed. A Garcia versus Haney rematch had both camps agreed, contracts moving, and a number on the table that made the first fight look like a warm-up. And then Garcia made $50 million from fight one, confirmed by his own camp, confirmed by Oscar de la Hoya, confirmed by Garcia himself on Instagram, and walked away from a rematch that was going to pay him even more. Most people watching boxing right now have absolutely no idea that deal existed, why it collapsed, or what has changed in the last 2 weeks that has both men now publicly declaring war on each other again. Because here is what nobody is talking about. On February 13th, Devin Haney told the world the ship had sailed. His exact words, "Done, finished. Ryan dropped out of VADA, so the fight was dead." Then Ryan Garcia fought Mario Barrios and was confirmed to be in VADA testing the entire time. The WBC confirmed it. Barrios confirmed it. And within 2 weeks of that, Haney was standing on a DAZN broadcast calling the Garcia rematch the biggest fight in boxing. 30 days, 3 completely different positions. And now Garcia has responded with a war declaration nobody saw coming. Here is everything: the signed deal, the money, the flip-flop, and the moment Ryan Garcia officially accepted. To understand why this rematch is such a powder keg right now, you have to go back to where Haney's head was the night the first fight fell apart. Not the public version, the private version, the one he finally admitted in a raw, unfiltered interview that the mainstream coverage completely buried.
Yeah, no, I mean, after the Ryan fight, I was fucked up. I was hurt.
Mentally.
I was hurt. I couldn't believe that a guy like, no disrespect to Ryan, but I felt like I was levels above him. I couldn't believe that a guy like Ryan could beat me. I was like, I trained super hard. I was super disciplined. He did everything wrong. I did everything right. So I was just like, I was fucked up. It was just my mind.
I trained super hard. I was super disciplined. He did everything wrong. I did everything right. That is a man who was broken. Not by losing. Haney had taken losses in training camps before, by the specific nature of this loss, by the fact that Ryan Garcia, the Instagram boxer, the social media star, the fighter who showed up to the pre-fight press conference looking like he hadn't slept in a week, walked into Barclays Center and dropped him 3 times. Haney's entire identity as the disciplined, professional, clean-living, elite boxer was shattered in one night by everything he stood against. And then it got worse.
Mine was all over the place.
This before you found out about the
yeah, this is
drug
before.
test.
This is before. But even after, I was still fucked up because, even after he tested positive, they were still making excuses. It was still like, it was like I was getting bad flack for it for something that he did wrong.
That was the interesting thing about that. You mentioned that this is a sport. You get love and you hate it, but your situation was unique because you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And you didn't really create excuses. I guess you addressed what was in front of you, right? As far as the test.
And in the beginning, when it was fair and I thought everything was fair, I gave him his props. I told him he was a better man,
Right.
and maybe we do it again one day. And I had to take it on the chin, and I did that. But I only had something to say when I found out that we wasn't on an even playing field.
He took the bad rap for something Garcia did. The doping positive came back, the no contest ruling landed. And instead of the boxing world directing its anger at Garcia, the fighter who tested positive, Haney caught the narrative. People said he wasn't the same after the Ryan fight. His former promoter, Eddie Hearn, went on the Andre Ward podcast and said Haney's team made mistakes. The public sympathy that should have been entirely his was split, and Haney was standing there holding a result that had been scrubbed from the record, a rematch that was signed and then went up in smoke, and a reputation that had taken damage he didn't cause. That is the full context behind everything that has followed. Haney doesn't just want this rematch for the money, he needs it, for what was taken from him, for the record, for what the sport owes him. And he is not the only one. Now here is where it gets complicated, because while Haney has been wanting this fight since the night the no contest was announced, his public positioning has been anything but consistent, and that inconsistency is exactly what blew the first signed rematch deal apart.
Said was, the ship has sailed. I've already talked about it. This is what I'm talking about, this generation putting their foot in their mouth. Devin recently said that the ship has sailed because Ryan dropped out of VADA. Not my words. They was his words. He said that, right? The ship has sailed, meaning...
February 13th, direct quote, "The ship has sailed. Ryan dropped out of VADA. The fight is dead." Haney said it publicly, put it on record. Done. Except it wasn't true.
I got receipts. February 13th, you said the ship has sailed. Ryan was in VADA for the Barrios fight. Proof right there. Barrios confirmed it. And he was like, I wasn't going to speak on it. It's ridiculous. I've seen the media and people claiming I'm not in VADA.
Ryan Garcia was in VADA for the entire Barrios fight camp. The WBC confirmed it. Barrios confirmed it. Garcia showed the paperwork. The reason Haney gave for the ship sailing, the reason the rematch deal collapsed in the first place, was factually wrong. And the boxing world barely noticed, because by the time the correction landed, everyone had moved on to the Barrios fight itself. But here is what makes this even more extraordinary. While Haney was publicly saying the ship has sailed and privately implying Garcia was still using, Garcia was being tested, winning a world title in dominant fashion and dropping a world champion inside 30 seconds with a right hand that had the broadcast team losing their minds. And then, 2 weeks after Haney's "ship has sailed" post, he was standing on a DAZN broadcast saying something completely different.
He's a monster.
You are the welterweight champion and a man in demand right now in that division. But the man you said you want is Ryan Garcia. Is that the fight you're looking for next?
Yeah, I mean, it has a storyline. It has the bad blood. It's a unification now, and it's the biggest fight in boxing. So it's a perfect fight to be made, and right now is the time.
What did you think of Ryan's performance?
I thought Ryan did what he was supposed to.
It has the bad blood. It's a unification now. It's the biggest fight in boxing. Right now is the time. The same man who said the ship had sailed, the same man who 2 weeks earlier implied Garcia was still on something, now calling it the biggest fight in boxing and saying the timing is perfect. 30 days, complete reversal. And the reason is simple. Haney watched Garcia dismantle Barrios and realized the rematch just became worth significantly more than it was when he walked away from the table. Garcia saw the call out, and he did not respond quietly.
It's time. I think he meant this time. You will be erased. I heard you speaking my name. He said, I heard you were looking for me. Here I go. Right? You will be erased. I heard you speaking my name. If this is what you want, let's start the negotiations and the discussions. Mark my words, you'll never fight again after this. So let that sink in and accept it before you say yes. Fear the Lord. War is declared.
You will be erased. Mark my words. You'll never fight again after this. War is declared. That is not a fighter accepting a rematch. That is a fighter who has been waiting for this moment since the night a no contest ruling stole the biggest win of his career. Garcia is not just accepting a fight here, he is declaring that this rematch ends Haney's career as a relevant fighter at the top level. Right now, both camps have agreed to VADA testing. ESPN confirmed in January that a tentative settlement on the lawsuit was reached, and both sides were closing in on a deal. Bill Haney confirmed publicly that Devin is targeting a return later this year. Garcia has pointed to the summer, Vegas, big stage, the rematch the sport has been demanding since April 2024. The $50 million Garcia made from Fight 1 was the largest single-night payday of his career. The rematch, with a world title now on the line, two men with genuine personal hatred for each other, and the unification angle added, is going to make that number look modest. This is not just a boxing match. This is two fighters who genuinely cannot stand each other, fighting for a result that the sport never got to see concluded cleanly. Haney believes he is owed a clean fight on an even playing field. Garcia believes he already proved what happens when these two share a ring and wants to do it again with the belt in his name fully on the line. One of them is right, and the answer is coming this summer. The full tactical breakdown of why this rematch plays out completely differently from the first fight, and the one adjustment in Garcia's game since the Barrios win that should have Haney's camp genuinely worried, that is the next video right here. Drop a comment. Does Garcia repeat what he did in Fight 1, or does a clean, fully prepared Haney finally get his revenge?